Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special AI-assisted coding bonus episode. And for this bonus episode, we have with us Elina Patjas. Hey, Elina. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for the invitation.
So Elina is in Helsinki, Finland, and she's building Lexie, an AI-powered study tool, for kids aged 10 to 15. Frustrated by this ineffective read for exam routines and gamified edtech fluff, she designed Lexie to turn handwritten notes into adaptive quizzes that reveal knowledge gaps. Private, ad-free, and subscription-based, Lexie is learning simplified. So, Elina, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and about Lexie. Why did you start developing Lexie, and why are you using AI to develop Lexie?
Okay, so about my background, I have been building software for more than 15 years here in Finland, and I have been mainly working as a designer and like product management side of stuff. About a year ago, I I resigned my old job back then, and I was like doing this. I was updating my portfolio then, and I was in a mindset that I'm going to look for another job and so on. And I decided then that I will try using Cursor, which was like a pretty new tool back then, and I was doing that, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually pretty easy." So that was like the moment that I realized that, okay, if I can do this, what else can I do? And I had this idea of an app in my head back then. I have two kids, by the way. They are like 11 and 6 right now, and my younger one was learning to read. And I wanted to kind of help her to practice those reading out loud skills. So I was thinking that what if I tried to kind of build an app to help her to kind of overcome her fear? And I did that. And I launched it to App Store. And I was like, okay, so if I can do this, so what else can I do? And this all happened, by the way, within like 2 weeks. And then I had this idea of building Lexie. For my background, I have been working in educational technology for quite some time, and I have been working with designing these online learning platforms for Finnish schools and students and teachers. And I had this like really big desire to be able to help kids to practice better, because not all kids, even though we have superbly good educational system here in Finland, not all kids can kind of get the help that they need, like when they need, especially when they are at home alone. Not all have like parents who can help them effectively practice for exams, for example. And I had gathered like a lot of insight about that subject and then I was like, okay, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to build Lexie, and I'm going to try to do it by myself, because I was super curious of seeing if I was going to able to do this. I was a bit skeptical. This was a year ago, but the more I spent time doing it, the more convinced I was that I might be actually able to kind of.
So was this these early experiences with Cursor, which is, I guess one could call it an AI-assisted coding integrated development environment, right? Like, because it has everything, right? Like from the text editor to anything that you can connect it to whatever models in the back end and whatever. But was it that experience of writing those first portfolio contributions and then later even an app with it? Was that what kind of triggered you to say, hey, I can definitely build something much bigger with this?
Yes, yeah. And I think that what kind of happened inside my head was that, like I said, I've been like building software for quite some time, but I've always struggled with the fact that, how can I say this nicely? That I have this like vision in my head, kind of because I am a designer, so I know the users, I know the user needs, and I know the business requirements. I think in systems, but there is so much like this overlapping things happening simultaneously when you are working in a like a bigger team, that most often what happens after like dev handouts and all those tens of thousands of meetings, that maybe like 10% of that your original vision is like you're able to execute it, and most often you're not ever going to even able to iterate it again. And I have always like struggled a little bit, well, a lot with this fact. And what happened to me with those first experiments was that I kind of realized, even though the AI tools were not completely there yet, but I was able to see like the shift in the paradigm. So I like it was changing from the thing that we are like writing code to this, that you are just kind of building the product. And I was able to do it by myself. I was really excited about that.
Yeah, I can see that excitement even today as you talk about it. So, and I really appreciate that. So if I got you right, what you're saying is your own previous experience of software development was that because of the way software is developed with a lot of people and a lot of processes and so on, a lot of the ideas, great ideas that you might have for the product end up not being implemented, that vision that you were talking about. But when you work on your own with just this AI tool, you can actually bring many of those ideas into fruition. I hear you didn't say it, but I hear you mean a lot more of those vision ideas than in a traditional software development environment.
Yes, definitely. And not like just like I can bring more ideas, but I can like create them exactly like I was designed to do that, because it's always like there are people who hate making compromises, and I'm one of those. And I think that is like a trait of a lot of designers. But now I am able to kind of execute the thing that I want like 100% the way I want it. And I can do it like really fast. And I get the feedback immediately because I can test the thing. Like, for example, I can share you an example from last week. In this product, my product Lexie, I have this feature that users can send me like feedback request, or if they find a bug or something from the app, directly to my personal WhatsApp number, which is pretty insane, not scalable, but because I'm just starting this out, so I can do things that don't scale. But I got this request from a girl who was studying, and she was like, she would really appreciate if she would be able to kind of iterate the study set after the creation of the study set, because she really likes to listen to text out loud. And if there are like spelling errors or stuff, it makes the reading experience harder. And I was like, that's a fucking brilliant idea, part of my language. But yeah, I can execute that. And the next morning, it was 9:15. I sent her a screen capture of like this new feature, and I sent her that I'm going to roll this out in the next, like the release, which went out like 2 days ago. So, and that makes me really happy because I'm actually able to do what I have always wanted to do as a designer, and the reason why I'm actually even building anything. So
yeah, absolutely, because we build for people, right? Like that's a very good point. And you're not saying this, but what I also hear you mean with that story is that as a designer, you now feel empowered to bring ideas to life rather than feel dependent on others.
Yes.
To accept and maybe bring some of those ideas to life.
Yes, definitely. That is a very huge thing for me. And one of the main reasons why I kind of feel that I want to talk about this. And I want that other people are able to kind of experience the same freedom. And I really hope that we're like getting away from the gatekeeping more and more in the future.
So, when you think about this AI-assisted coding, how do you define, like there's this word going around, everybody's talking about, it's called vibe coding. How do you define vibe coding, and how is it different maybe from what you're doing and what you would call what you're doing, or maybe even other AI-assisted coding approaches?
Yeah, well, I have a little bit mixed feelings about the word vibe coding. I do know what the origin is, like what Karpathy meant, but what has happened is that it has translated into this kind of a thinking like that it's sloppy, that our people are using it just to build quick prototypes or not like reading the code at all and stuff like that. And then there is the other side of the spectrum that you're using AI as a tool when you are kind of implementing new features. You ask help, and like that. Those are like the two like ends of the spectrum. I don't think that I'm neither, because for example, what I do is that I use natural language when I start my like a coding experience. For example, I can share like a practical example, which might be easier to understand, like how I do this is that last week I was doing design for this new feature, which is called fill in the blank question. So this kind of a assignment type when kids need to like find words to fill in like sentences, and especially helpful when you're learning languages. And what I did is that I spent like 30 minutes kind of designing the whole workflow inside my head, or so kind of this implementation plan that I wrote out in plain text. And it had like all the UX interactions, the data flow, and the kind of the overall architectural decisions that I made during that phase. So I spent like a lot of time writing like really, really good spec. And then I gave that to Claude Code. And I started kind of like when I work with Claude Code, it's like I treat it as like my like in a sense like a companion. It's like I discuss the different scenarios with it, and it produces me the code, and I do not write it anymore. I did that when I started with Cursor, but along the way, I've noticed that actually AI is able to write really good code if you just know how to read it. So that's like, I do read the code, what Claude Code writes, and it's actually super helpful for me because I understand also like my own systems better when I can easily spot like what's are the like differences it done and stuff like that. But I do not write any code. I haven't written a single line of code in a long time.
So did I understand correctly that now the way you developed with Claude Code is that first you spend some time thinking about I'm guessing the feature spec. You called it the data flow, the architectural decisions, and the user interaction. So all of those aspects. And once you are happy with the spec, then you give it to Claude
Yes.
Code. But how do you then interact with it? Because one of the characteristics of these tools is that they can easily get confused. They can try to do too many things at the same time, and then things don't come out right. So how do you interact with it, right? You've written the spec, you're happy with the spec, but what do you do next with the AI assistant in detail?
Yeah. Okay, so I obviously don't give the entire spec to Claude and say like, YOLO and see you in 3 hours. But I at that point when the implementation plan is ready, then I split it into smaller tasks because I can like Claude knows very well my entire code base because I also like update the Claude MD all the time whenever I like make changes, I make sure that Claude MD is like really up to date. So it basically knows everything about my code. And I have already, someone asked me last week how many lines of code there is in my app at the moment. So I have 32,000 lines in the client side and 8,000 on the server side. So few lines, a lot of lines to be like writing by yourself. And so after that, I give like the overall like the idea what we are trying to execute together. So I said no, it.
It, yes, very
Yes,
good.
it. So it knows like what we are trying to achieve, and then I kind of split it into smaller prompts, and that's something that I have been like learning a lot how to prompt really well. So like it has to know really well what I am trying to do. And I kind of have these checkpoints all the time that I kind of check what he's like, it is trying to suggest me to do and how to proceed. So we have like this dialogue all the time. So it's not like just like
So you
grab a coffee. Yeah.
So you take the whole spec that you've written on your own, and then you do maybe some small updates to the Claude MD, which is kind of the project file that Claude always reads before doing anything.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, but out of this, let's only do this thing now.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, mainly. Yeah. And sometimes I've noticed now that Claude Code is getting so much better. So sometimes you can actually suggest like what if we do this like this way, and then I kind of think about it. Would it be like a good approach or not? And then usually say no because normally it is better than my original approach. But yeah, so I treat it really much like this.
And how about the spec? Do you also use an AI to help you write the spec out, or do you write it on your own?
Yeah, I write it with Claude. Yeah. So I basically have this like, I start doing the planning together with Claude. I have like the original idea is always like really clear in my head, like what I want to achieve. And then I kind of have this conversational partner because I am working solo, like I mentioned before. So I don't have anyone to kind of discuss this. So Claude is also like my planning partner. And then it is my executional partner.
So it's interesting that you started way back with Cursor, right? Like when you were first getting acquainted with these tools and getting used to the idea. And nowadays you use Claude Code. Is there a specific reason why you changed tools? Like why did you decide to go from something like Cursor into something like Claude Code? And how do you use Claude Code? Is it command line? Is it integrated into VS Code or something else?
Yeah, I think that like when I started, it was a year ago. Then Cursor was just like new thing, and I wanted to try it out because, well, not that new thing, but like like pretty near thing. And I wanted to try it out. And then I kind of, because I was just starting doing that, I wanted to, I was thinking more like I want to be able to learn how to code. So that was my mind shift then. And I really used it as a tool to help me. Like actually, I was writing the functions myself and kind of trying to get better at coding. But at some point during this year, I realized that I actually don't need to do this because it will do it so much faster than me anyway. And it would require so much time if I would start from the beginning to kind of start like learning to write the code myself. So it shifted like a little bit at a time to the direction that I actually do not want to write the code myself, but I want to be able to understand what like the system is like doing for me. And and when the Cloud Code came out, I didn't actually first started using it because I was quite happy with the current system back then. But then Cursor did some like really stupid changes to their pricing systems, and I was like, no, this is not working. And I also noticed kind of that due to the fact that my like mindset was shifting, I was kind of already wanting to have a different type of a companion. And then I did this with the Cloud Code, and I've been pretty happy. And
I use it in the command line, or?
I use it both. I use it in the command line, but I also use it in my IDE. So I use Jet actually because it's super fast. And and I can actually run like multiple commands simultaneously. So like one Claude is doing something, another one is doing another thing, and I kind of.
What was the IDE that you use?
It's called Z.
Z.
Yes.
Very good. I'll put the link to that in the show notes for people to check it out. And throughout this experience, what have you learned about what makes AI-assisted coding work for you?
Well, I think that I've already kind of said it, that it's like what works for me is that I finally have like tools to execute like my own vision without no compromises. And even though I have always loved working really closely with like devs, there's been some nagging like thing in my backside of my head is like I have spent so much time of explaining how things should work, like instead of doing stuff. And now I'm finally able to kind of do what I want and just the way I want it to happen. So that was like the main reason why I think that using AI as a coding assistant for me is like a good choice.
And what are some of the, looking at it from the other side, what are some of the things that don't really work? What are some of the anti-patterns that you've discovered in working with AI-assisted coding tools?
Yeah, I think that is like something that quite often if you hear people about like talking about the problems of wipe coding. So obviously if you just let any AI like tool to run rampant in your code, shit will happen. So you need to be actually like really specific about what you want to do and how do you want to do it, and kind of treat the AI as this like highly skilled like companion that you need to be able to communicate yourself like super well and like be on top of everything. So that works for me. I have no idea how other people are using it, and I've seen actually like super good like solutions people have like truly 100% prompt like vibe coded like without no previous coding experiences and doing stuff with Lovable and blah blah blah. But I don't know anything about that because I don't work like that. But how I work, this works for me super well.
So what would you say, like, because one of the things that you talked about is how frustrating it felt for you before when you needed to spend so much time explaining how things should work and why they should work that way to other human developers, right? But now with Claude Code as an example, you also need to explain. So what is the big difference right now versus what was back then when you work with teams of developers?
Yeah, I think it's so much easier. I think that I'm super bad at communicating out loud, like you can maybe hear. I work actually quite well when I write things because it's easier and it's more natural for me to write things. And also the iteration loop is so fast because when you kind of fail to explain something, you get the feedback so fast that you can actually say, no, this is actually not what I wanted. And you can clarify the thing that you needed like in really fast. So the feedback loop is so fast that it makes it so much easier. But it's true, you do need those communication skills with, are you working either with a human developer or an AI developer?
Yeah, and the other thing that you said that I want to highlight is the speed of the feedback loop. And this is something that we very often underestimate, because when we are working with other humans, we are not telling them what to do, right? Like we're saying, this is what I want us to do in the case of a designer or an architect or whatever. But then the developers, they might have other tasks that they need to complete first, and then they'll complete those. And then at some point they start working on the things that they've agreed with you. And only after that you start getting some output that you can look at and get feedback from. But by that time, you might already be in a completely other type of work, right? Like you might be thinking about features that are coming up a month from now, whatever that is. And because of that, like that lack of synchronicity creates this problem of lengthening the feedback loop. But when you're working with an AI assisted coder, then what you're doing is that you're prompting and getting the feedback at the same time. It's not real time because it takes time for the LLM to produce the output, but it's so much faster, right? Like it's a few minutes, it's not a few weeks.
Yeah, definitely that. And that's something also like when I have been working as like in a traditional like development teams is that like when you are producing designs, you're producing some kind of like a Figma file. Well, that's not design. That's just like a step inside of the pipeline. And then you have to do like this really tenuous handover to someone who is trying to interpret what you were actually trying to do. And most often, a lot of things like vanish between that phase. And I think that quite many people who work in software development do know this struggle. And there are like a lot of ways we've been trying to like solve this issue, but for me, like I've been doing this for more than 15 years. I haven't seen not that much improvement. The only way I've noticed that it actually works when you are like pair programming or working alongside with a dev, so you can actually like share a room, or you can actually like share a Slack conversation while you are like doing so. But then basically what the devs are doing is like you're guiding them like at the same time that you're developing the feature. So
yeah, and then with the AI, it just happens faster, because also one of the advantages of AI is that it types faster.
Yes.
Right. So if the feedback loop is there, and if we have the communication skills to transfer the knowledge to the AI or transfer the ideas to the AI, then the typing also happens faster. But when you look at your own experience, I mean, you started, I guess, a bit more than a year ago as we record this. When you look at your own experience, how it has evolved over this last 12 months, and you kind of project that into the future, how do you see this trend going? Like, where do you think this AI-assisted programming is going to be? Let's not be too far into the future. Just even 6 months from now, like what do you see are the trends, and how do you see that approach to software development evolving?
Yeah, well, this is something that I'm gonna most likely get like a lot of hate because I already get that whenever I write about this, for example, in LinkedIn or somewhere else about like what I think was happening, like not even just coding, but like how we are building software. And this is solely based on my own experience and also what I can see by following what is happening outside of like our Finnish bubble, maybe, is that I think that kind of the whole paradigm is changing, like from like how we are like interacting with software. I think that we're going to the direction where people are like the software gets built in an instance, like it's going to this like intent based mode when we actually don't even need apps or software as we know them right now in the future, but we kind of we are able to kind of shift to the direction where the software just is happening like in the minutes. Like for example, if I could think about Lexie, my own product, I actually do hope that eventually I will not need like an app to do this. But for example, when kids have, they need to practice for exams, for example, they kind of just can tell the AI that I need to practice for this, and they will create like instant practice, and it is gone after the kid has used it, and they will never use it again. And the next time they need to solve the same problem, the same like UI gets built all over again, and so and this is like a really raw thinking in my head. I don't know if it's going to happen and what, like, is it 6 months or 3 years or whatever? But I don't have that kind of like knowledge, but I can see that something is changing in the way we are like building software. And one thing that I've noticed that I think that will change is how much one people can actually do with the proper skill sets. Because I think that I can like say that I am like a walking example of what if you have like the proper like background and you know what good looks like, you can actually be able to do several things at a time what used to require like 10 people at least to build before. So yeah, I think that there is some kind of shift coming. And
absolutely. And one of the interesting things that you said there is this concept of emerging software in the moment, right? Like if you need something done, then through the interaction with this higher level tool, whatever that might be, like Lexie Square or Lexie number 2 or Lexie V10, whatever that is, then things just emerge as necessary, and then they don't stay there forever. Because right now we have this idea that software is something that first you need to develop and then you need to maintain eventually forever if it's successful, right? Because if it's not successful, nobody cares. But if it's successful, then you need to maintain it forever. But what I hear you say is that the way you see this AI-assisted coding or even AI programming or AI software development approach is that it will eventually just create the software that is needed at the moment. And then when it's not needed anymore, it just vanishes, right?
Yeah. That's like, that's what I think right now. I don't know if it's going to happen. I have no idea. I don't have like a magic ball I can look into, but that's how I feel. Like as a designer, I think that one of the key skills is to be able to kind of read all the like silent signals. And these are not even silent anymore because these are actually quite loud signals. But this is also something that I've noticed that if I speak up loud about this, people get like pretty pissed off. And I understand because it's also super scary because you can actually see that if this is happening, it will change a lot of people's lives, including myself. Like I have been wondering this and thinking about this a lot because, for example, for me, it's taken like 15 years to kind of gain this knowledge that I have, and a lot of practice. And now I can see that basically good AI tools can do the actual design, like the user interface design or UX design, pretty well already. So you can I'm like, okay. So I also do feel that that it's at the same time it's scary, but at the same time I'm really excited because I can see also like the bonus side, what is happening.
Yeah,
so I'm just kind of trying to adapt myself and my own thinking that what is going on.
And at the end of the day, the tools are nothing, right? Like at the end of the day, if we're solving problems that people have, not problems we invented, but problems people really have, then there's going to be value there. And however that gets delivered, we can innovate there, and maybe it's AI, maybe it's something else. But definitely a great and inspiring vision. Thank you for sharing that, Elina. Now, for those that want to maybe dive a little bit more, is there like a book, a video, a podcast, whatever that might be, a resource that you could recommend for those that after this episode are saying, maybe I should give it a try?
Honestly, I think that the best resource is like just your own frustration with some existing tool. Because I always, if someone is asking like, should I take a YouTube tutorial or whatnot, don't do that. Just open whatever tool that you're using. Is it like Claude or ChatGPT, and start interacting and discussing, kind of getting into this mindset that you're exploring what you can do, and then just start doing. For example, I told our mutual friend of ours, Jussi, that, for example, if you have struggles that your kid's basketball team, like how you need to make the reservations for the team, rebuild that one, take time and think about how you can do that better, and just use the tools and see how it goes, because that's the quickest way of learning and quickest way of actually understanding how this might affect on how you work yourself. And so I actually don't have any books or YouTube tutorials or anything to recommend, because also, if I recommend something that I've watched yesterday and people go look it tomorrow, it might be outdated already.
It might be out of date, especially in this field, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, check out Lexie. It's an AI-powered study tool for kids aged 10 to 15 that Elina is writing. I'll put the link to that in the show notes. And how about you, Elina? Where can people go to find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
I'm not super active, you can go to my LinkedIn or my X or Twitter. I actually call it Twitter. If you want to see something, I shit post my thinking there sometimes, but most often because my users aren't there, so my focus is not there either. So my users are in TikTok and WhatsApp and channels and YouTube and so you can find me those channels if you're interested in the product that I'm building. So if you want to know me and what I do, just download the app and try it yourself, because that is maybe the fastest way of kind of knowing what I do how I do it. Yeah.
Elina, thank you very much for being here with us and for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It was nice to be able to share some of my thinking.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO-level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.